Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to show you how to paint this super easy and simple lavender flowers. This is great for beginners or if you just want to practice painting flowers more. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. For today I used a size 3 brush. I got this just from Amazon. This is really nice to paint small leaves, small details. I then used a size 8 brush for the stems and the flowers. This is a great brush that is really versatile and you can use it for everything. I will have it linked in the description box, so make sure you check it out. I also used a retractable pencil. This is for drawing, makes it really easy to sketch and do small details. I then used a mixing tray that I just got with my palette, and I'll be using this for my colours. Before we begin painting, I want to show you the shape of the lavender and how I like to sketch it. Lavender usually has more buds at the bottom and then thins out towards the top. So the shape that we're drawing is like a rounded cone shape. I then am just adding the stems just so that I can see the direction of the flowers, which makes it easier to sketch. And for the leaves and the buds themselves, they are like a round teardrop shape, and we're just going to be placing these very randomly. There is no specific pattern that they come in, just making sure we add a bit more at the bottom and less at the top. We're going to be leaving some space just to have a bit of brightness in between the flowers, like they do naturally. For the leaves, they are thin and wispy. Some are a bit longer, some are a bit thinner. So just play around when you're drawing this or sketching it out, and just have a feel. And next, for the colors, I decided to make a purple instead of just using the one in my palette. So in case you don't have a purple on hand, this is going to help you to create that lavender color. So firstly, I used ultramarine, which is a lovely deep rich blue. I then mixed that into rose permanent, and this created the most beautiful lavender color, and that's what we'll be using today. And for the stems and leaves, I used my favorite shade of green, which is sap green, and then I added to that cad red hue, and I only added a small amount, and this is just going to deepen the green and add a bit more warmth and take away some of that brightness. Before I began painting, I decided I did want to sketch out the composition of the flowers just so that I could have a bit more direction, and it just makes painting a bit easier. So you can go ahead and copy what I've done here, and then to begin I grabbed some of my green mix that I prepared earlier, and I've just started to draw the stems. Because it's been sketched out, this is very easy to do. I just follow the lines that I've drawn and I'm just going over it. I'm doing a light first wash, so this is not going to be too vibrant yet until a little bit later on. So you can go ahead and just paint your stems now before we begin the flowers. So my stems are done for now, so I'm just going to be picking up some of my lavender purple that we created, and I'm just going to begin by starting at the bottom of the flower, and I'm just going to be doing small little dabs, and they're going to be odd shapes, some of them long, some of them circular, and this is just going to look quite natural and soft once we've finished with the flower. So you just want to keep on, let some space in between, just keep on dabbing, keep a light hand whilst you do this, and just making sure that the bottom is going to be thinner than the top. I'm then going to be taking some of my ultramarine blue, and I like to do this because I think it adds more depth and it just makes it look a bit more natural, because the lavender flower, there are some that are more purple and there are some that are more blue. So you can choose to do this step or you can choose to skip it if you like the color that you've come up with yourself, but that's what I decided to do. I'm then going to be taking my size 3 brush now, and I'm just going to be adding small flicks towards the outside of the flower, and this is just to create a more wispy effect. I like to do this just because I don't like everything to be so circular, and it just adds a bit more of an interesting dimension towards the overall shape of the flower. This is not something that you have to do, but I personally like to do it, and I think it looks really, really nice as the final result. This is one completed flower. I'm now going to be repeating this for all the other 4 flowers, and then we're going to go on to the leaves. So you just continue doing the same process, and just make sure that try not to make all of them look identical. So the next flower that I'm doing, I'm going to be making it a little bit thinner than the previous one, because they're not, in nature, nothing is ever the same. So some are going to be more dense, some are going to be more thick, some will be more blue, and some will be more purple. So just play around and just give yourself an idea that, you know, you don't want everything to be the same. And it should be easy, because it's very hard to create 2 identical flowers exactly. So you're just going to be repeating the process until you've finished all of the flowers that you've put down on your paper. I'm now going to be taking my size 3 brush, and I'm going to be adding a little bit more sap green, and this is just because I want to now darken my stems, just to add a bit more darkness and a more vibrancy, because I do think that it looks quite pale, and I want it to be a bit more colourful in the green. So I'm just going to be going over my stems. I'm now going to be painting the leaves. I have a few sketched out, but because I felt like the flowers were very spaced out, I decided to fill them in more and add more leaves so it just looked more together. So here I am just wisping out some leaves. I use a very gentle stroke and I start off lightly and then push down so the belly of the brush gives more of a thick outline, and then I lift the brush up so you get this very nice flick effect which looks very leaf-like and natural, and I just keep repeating this until it looks very nice, thick and full, and the flowers look like they are together. So next thing you want to do is grab your green again, and we're just going to be going over some of the leaves and some of the stems with a more concentrated green, and this is just again to add another layer of color. I always think it looks really pretty and interesting when you use more layers in watercolor. I always think the more layers the more interesting it looks, so it can look very pale if you just do one wash of color. So here I am just adding a darker concentration of the green, and I think it looks really pretty and really nice. So you just want to go over some of the leaves that you've done, and then just go in between the lavender flowers and add little stripes of green just to show the continuous of the stem coming through, which is a really nice effect, and it looks very natural and gives off the effect of a very pretty lavender flower. I'm going to be wetting my brush now, and I'm going to be doing some splashes. So you want to have two brushes for this, and you want to use a nice wet brush, and you're going to grab your other brush and you're just going to tap against it, and this is going to add some really nice flicks, and they're going to be in different sizes. So I decided to do some purple around the flowers, and then I'm going to go in with the green and do that more around the stem just to add a bit of splash, and I think it's a very nice way to style your background of the painting that you do. And there you have it. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. Please hit the like and the subscribe button. It really helps me out a lot. I will be posting more tutorials, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.